Hello, you're listening to a podcast. We have 3 this week. Drew's back from his hiatus. He was traveling last week. He's back this week. So there's 3 of us. You're watching or listening to Butterball. It's a podcast of 3 family members, and we're talking ball, and we're having a ball. Hi, my name's Scott.
I think you still say watching, even if it's listening. I feel like that's normal for podcasts.
Okay.
Just so we're all on the same page here. I feel like that's a norm, is you still say, like, I watch this podcast even if you listen to it.
Okay, fair.
Leave a comment down below.
I will keep doing that in the future. Okay. You don't need to scold me in front of our audience.
I'm not scolding you. Oh my God. Can we just trying to make sure we're all on the same page here?
Okay, I'm with you.
So my name's Nicole. Thanks for that. Make sure you follow us on Instagram at Butterball Podcast. Been posting lots of clips on there, and we'll post some other fun stuff soon. So follow us on Instagram at Butterball Podcast.
And I'm Drew. You can subscribe to us on YouTube at Butterball Podcast or listen to us on Spotify. Just search Butterball.
Excellent. All right, so we're going to catch up a little bit on one of the things we talked about last week. We were following the NCAA Gymnastics tournament, I guess, as it was going on, because it finishes here in Fort Worth, Texas, where I live, and close to where Drew lives. We decided to follow it a little bit because OU is kind of they're the team right now. They've got the dynasty going, and Nicole, you can fly your OU banner and be very proud. They won again, didn't they?
Yes, they did.
They did. This is their 4th title in the last 5 years. So that's definitely a dynasty right now. It's interesting because, for a while, like Alabama was hot, and wasn't Georgia hot for a while, and some other teams. And right now, Oklahoma's the hot one. I mean, they've got things going on. They beat out LSU by less than a point. Their superstar, her name is Faith Torres, did a floor exercise right at the end and blew the doors off of it, and they win. And she also won the all-around, so she must be the college stud of women's gymnastics these days, Faith Torres.
Yeah. I'm sad because I didn't get a chance to watch as much as I wanted to, so I'll have to go back and watch the recording because I truly do just love watching gymnastics. But, of course, I was staying up to date, so yes, I knew that OU won, which is very exciting.
Yeah, so it's exciting for you. Probably not a surprise to people. LSU people are bummed, which, that can happen. Florida came in 3rd, and then Minnesota was the team that got 4th. That was the big surprise because, I think last week when we talked, I was like, well, if I'm thinking of Minnesota, I'm thinking of skiing and hockey, and stuff like that, not gymnastics. This was the first time they had ever been to the Final Four or the final meet or whatever, and they got 4th. So hats off to them. They got something going on there. That's pretty cool. So yeah, so from there, the other thing we talked about was the NHL playoffs. So you guys want to spend some time talking NHL playoffs? They're going right now, so I think we got some things to talk about, right?
Absolutely.
All right, we'll start with the Western Conference. So in the Western Conference, you have the Avalanche playing the Kings. Right now, the Avalanche are currently up 2-0 in that series. Do you guys have any doubt that the Avalanche are not going to win this series, or what are your thoughts?
No, not really. I think everyone's favoring the Avalanche to probably go all the way, so I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I think the Avalanche at the beginning of the playoffs, they were like 30% chance of winning the entire Stanley Cup, and then the next team is a lot less than that. So they're the high favorites to win the Cup. Again, which, sucks for those of us that like the Stars because we got to play them like second round if we get by the first round, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So let's talk about then the Stars and the Wild. So the Stars and the Wild, the Stars are now up 2-1. They had a double overtime game last night. Nicole, did you stay up for the whole thing? Were you able to stay up for the whole thing?
I stayed up for the whole thing. I think I'm the only one out of the 3 of us because I texted in the second overtime and I said, can somebody win so I can go to bed? And nobody laughed at my message. So I'm assuming that I'm the only one that was awake.
I tried to stay up. I fell asleep about 8 minutes before the game ended. And then when I woke up, draft day was playing on the TV and I knew the game was over. So I had to look up what happened.
Well, my excuse was your mom and I, we went over to the Frisco area, the Colony, and watched at Cosm. We watched the first 2 periods there. That experience was super cool. I'd recommend anybody to go to that for any kind of game. That was really neat. It's like being at to me, it looks like a little mini sphere, that you'd be in Vegas where they have like the big concerts and shit. This is just a little bit smaller, or well, quite a bit smaller, but it's unbelievable. I mean, the camera angles they changed to, and the different things like that. So we watched the first 2 periods, and I was like, well, it's kind of late. I don't want to keep us here and be driving at 12:30 at night, going home or whatever. So let's just go home. So we got home, and then they ended regulation, and I was
Still
like, oh,
playing. Yeah.
still playing. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, this is after I've had a few beers, and I fell asleep too. I just got a little tired.
I
The
was
8:30
tired.
start time is brutal.
It
I don't know why
is.
they don't start at 7 PM. They're both central teams. Like, help us out a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did not realize how late it was until one of the announcers said, "Oh, it's like 12 a.m. there," and I was like, "Wow!" I thought it was an hour ahead, and then I was like, "Oh my god, it's
Yeah.
that time here too." I
Yeah.
was not paying attention, and then I had to keep staying up because at that point I really wanted to know who was gonna win.
Yeah. Well, when I did finally wake up, I'm like, oh, I got to check who won real quick, just so I can, not that I needed any more help to go back to sleep, but checked, saw they won. Excellent. They're up 2-1. We like that. You think they're going to win this series?
I think this is the toughest series out of all of the first rounds of the NHL playoffs. But obviously, I'm rooting for the Stars, and the 2-1 series lead is going to be huge for them. So I'm hoping they can pull it through.
I will say I'm not our most, well-versed hockey fan out of the group, but what impressed me about last night's game was like every time majority of the time that there was a power play, still like nobody scored. Like there was like 4 or 5 in a row where they each had such good defense that like nothing was happening. And even in overtime, that was happening as well. So watching that gave me some hope that, we could pull it off because we're able to
Yeah.
still hold them off even when it's a power play. Like they had like 6 different power plays that they still weren't able to score on. So
And these guys are amazing when they have a person advantage. It's unbelievable. Yeah, I mean, the way the Stars looked in the first game, I was like, crap. They looked horrid in that first game. It was the first 30 minutes, they did nothing, and I'm like, this might be a bad omen, but hey, they came back and they won that second game, even though they had less shots on goal and everything. And then they went on the road. And so I have confidence that the Stars can get it done, but then they'll be faced, with the Avalanche in the second round. And I don't know. I have my doubts as to whether they can get past that round. I don't know. You think they can get it?
The Stars have the toughest road to the Cup every year, it feels like. Having to face the Wild first round, Avalanche usually always the second round, and then they're going to have to face Vegas or Edmonton or Anaheim, which is not going to be easy either.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought that the top 3 teams were the Avalanche, the Stars, and the Wild going into this. On the other side of in the other conference, there's Carolina and there's, I guess you could say the Sabres because they had a pretty good record. But to me, just in your own conference and in your own division, you've got those 3 teams that are just at the top of the league.
It was the toughest division by far.
Yeah. And then the Knights and the Mammoth are tied 1-1. Who do you think's going to win that one out?
Knights, I think. They've been here before. Utah's still new to this.
Yeah. I think
The
Utah has
Coyotes before, same team.
I think Utah has a really good goaltender, which always can help, when you get into the playoffs. But it is like on that lower part of the bracket, it's a 1 versus a 4. So Utah snuck in. They were the last team in. So I'd say Vegas would have the odds there as well. And then the Oilers and Ducks, it's a 2 versus a 3. They're tied 1-1 right now in their series.
I think everyone probably thinks Edmonton's going to win because, they have McDavid and Draisaitl, but I actually think it's going to be the Ducks.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
That'd be a big change, and
It would.
and then people will start talking about, if that happens, people will start talking about, well, God, is McDavid going to get out of there or what, because he's just they look at him kind of like any player in the NFL that's with a team doesn't look like they're going to win the Super Bowl. They're like, man, he's got to go somewhere where they're going to win. But hey, if you're in the playoffs all the time, I mean,
they are. Their team is loaded. They need a better goaltender. Every goaltender they try is just not it. That's their biggest issue.
Yeah, they can get such pressure on the other team with all their speed they have and everything. You
Mhm.
know, they're a really good team. So yeah, so if you got the Knights, Oilers, or Ducks, then are you thinking that whoever wins the Oilers Ducks would end up beating the Knights, or do you think the Knights might get into the conference championship?
I think the Knights will beat whichever team makes it again.
Nicole, any prediction there?
No, I would agree with all of those. And
So
then
we kind of
yeah.
go ahead.
No, I was gonna start talking about the second conference, and I realized you're gonna get mad at me.
No, no, no. I was just going to say, well, we probably then would say that we believe probably the Avalanche are going to the Stanley Cup out of this side.
Nope, you won't hear me say that. I'm rooting for the Stars. The
Yeah.
Stars are going to the Western Conference
Okay.
Final
All
again.
right. So you're being the fan. You're going to stick with it. You know, if you made me lay down money, I'd probably put it on the Avalanche. But hey, I'll be with you there too. I want to see the Stars go as well. On the other side, the series, or a couple of them, are looking already out of hand. The first two we'll talk about. They're both 1-1. So these are the two closest. You got the Sabres and the Bruins. Sabres were the new team into the playoffs, but they were one of the highest point getters. So that's a 1 versus a 4 because the Bruins got in late, and they're tied 1-1. I'm hoping the Sabres get by this one.
I agree.
Even though
I would like to
even
see
though
the
I love the
Sabres too.
Bruins, or the Bruins uniforms, I still want to see the Sabres beat them.
You don't think the Sabres?
I think they have good ones. Yeah, they have good ones. Then the Lightning and Canadians, 1-1.
I would think that everyone's probably taken Tampa because they've been dominant for so long, but I really want to see the Canadians beat them.
Yeah, it's been a long time since the Canadians have been good, right? I mean, they were dominant
6
way
or
back
7
in the
years,
early
maybe?
days. What's that?
6 or 7 years ago, they were in the Stanley Cup.
Oh, okay. They were dominant, like, you know, in the 60s and 70s and stuff. They were a really good team, and fun team to watch. And I too. I mean, I think that's going to be a pretty good series. That looks like what they. I think have both their games gone to overtime? I know one of them did.
The last one definitely did. I don't know about the one
Yeah.
before.
And then at the bottom of that conference, not the bottom teams, but just on the lower half of the playthrough, the Hurricanes, I guess, are currently up 2-0 against the Senators. I mean, the Senators are fighting, but they're not going to beat them. I don't think so.
I think it's already over for them. And I think Carolina is probably the favorite from this whole side, I had to guess.
Yeah. But Philly, man, they're kicking the crap out of the Penguins. They're up 3-0. So they're going to get to rest because they're going to win this thing either in 4 or 5 games. And, well, I guess the Hurricane can do that too, but they're going to get to rest. But then those two teams got to play each other. And like you say,
Yeah,
Hurricane's probably the favorite.
The Flyers have surprised me. I would have picked Pittsburgh before this. They're kicking their ass.
Yeah. Did you guys see that the Flyers the Flyers have a guy who just played in the college tournament and then Michigan State got beat out. So then he goes right to the NHL and he's like scoring goals and stuff, man.
Mhm.
I mean, he jumped
It's
right
pretty
in.
crazy.
It is crazy. Golly. That never, well, I mean, I'm not going to say never, but it just doesn't seem like it used to happen like that. But we talked about this last week. There's a lot of young stars in the NHL too that you look at them and you go, man, they're young. So this guy came from college, which we would expect to be more of the path. But yeah,
The
so
NHL is very young right now.
yeah. How old is Crosby? He's like 38. He's not even 40 yet. And he's at the end of his career.
Yeah, probably. And Ovechkin's just about 40, just
Yeah.
over.
Yeah.
Yeah, the best guy is only 19 years old.
Who's
that? You think
Macklin
Bedard's the
Celebrini?
best? Or Celebrini?
No. Celebrini.
That's her fave. He's the best.
Oh.
He has the best social media content. of anybody.
Right now, he's making me laugh and smile the most on social media. So he's my fave right now.
He does
That's
seem
cool.
cool. I would have wanted the Sharks to make the playoffs because I do like him too.
And Will
Yeah.
Smith. They just seem like the best of buddies. Like, they are a bonded pair. And if they ever get separated, I will be very upset.
Well, it might happen. You never know. I mean, pro sports, keeping teams together is hard because it takes so much money. Just depends on, you know, if they're both like super producing, you know, do they pay them both or?
Yeah, they're a
You know.
bonded pair.
Celebrini's going to be an expensive man one day. I don't know if the Sharks can afford him.
Yeah.
Well.
Did you ever see the documentary on saving? What did they call it? Was it when they saved Sakic? Yeah, Save Sakic
Mm-mm.
in in Denver. Oh man, I'd recommend that to anybody to watch. It's super interesting about like when the Avalanche first moved to Denver. They used to be the Quebec Nordiques, and they moved to Denver, and then they were trying to break into that market, and the Denver market, they had the Nuggets basketball team and the Avalanche now, and they neither of them were considered winners, and their arena they played in was crap, and they were like trying to make money on a shoestring budget and all this other stuff. And then and then the Rangers swoop in and want to take their superstar away from them, through free agency and stuff. And it's just interesting how they raised the money to keep him there, and then they built their team and shit. Now they've got it going on. They love the Avalanche, always have, and now they obviously have a new arena and all that kind of stuff. But very interesting documentary.
Harrison Ford has a part to play in it, which you'll see if you watch.
Yeah, Harrison Ford. Yeah, he's a part of it, and it's on ESPN, ESPN Plus or ESPN.
Is it like a 30 for 30?
Yeah, I think it is.
It is.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it's really good.
All right, I'll watch it. Speaking of fave players, I also like Quinn Hughes, which is also hard for me, given that he's playing the Stars. But Quinn Hughes is also really funny, and he's been cracking me up on social media. Not even what he's doing, but how people are talking about him, because people keep capturing these videos of him, and they're saying that he looks like he's seen a ghost, like, all the time.
And he does. When he sits down on the bench, he looks scared.
Really?
Every single time.
God, when you see him on the ice, he looks like the coolest guy out there, doesn't he?
He's the best player out there.
Oh my God.
Daddy's sitting like this all the time.
Yeah. And when he gets out there, the way he moves and stuff it's magical. I mean, I could watch him play all day long. It's, the wheeling and dealing he can do is amazing.
Oh, wait, no, this one is my favorite. He's just standing there.
Yeah. Dude,
he literally was just standing there.
Well, the thing about it is that, I never really saw him when he was with Vancouver. And then, I saw him a few times on the Wild, and then in the Olympics, when I saw him, I was like, oh my God, to me right away, I was like, God, he's like the best player on the team.
Mm-hmm.
This guy's, he makes a gigantic difference,
He's he reminds me of Courage the Cowardly Dog.
He's funny. Well, I like those clips, and I've also seen clips of him in interviews, and like he is not afraid to mouth off to the interviewers, which I love too. Like, I can't remember what they even asked him, but he's like, yeah, we got whacked in the 2 games. Like, yeah, I'm not very happy about it. Like, he's just so straight up, and I just love it when athletes do that.
Yeah, it's good. It's good, man. So, this is just the start. This is the first round, and it's already you guys watching how much more physical it is and everything. I mean, man, any play around the goal, these guys are thumping each other in the face, and they're drawing blood at times, bloody noses and stuff just from the goalie freezing it, and they're throwing a punch or two before the referees get there and stuff. It's wild, man.
As a ref, how do you even decide like what to call and what not to call?
Well, that's the thing. I even saw in the first couple of games where they called something, and then they go over to the bench, and the coach is like dropping F-bombs going, this is the playoffs, we don't call, we don't call that stuff anymore. It's a different deal, man. It's fun to watch.
There's been a good amount of fights too.
Yeah. Yeah. They're not messing around, man. They're going to battle it out. It's a battle royal. Like you say, Brock Faber for the Wild, he's already got scrapes on his cheekbones and stuff. You can, because I think he wears his shield like way up too, So man, guys are coming in with their gloves and stuff, and man, they play it hard. It's awesome to watch. They're so fast too. It's fun.
They are very fast. It always makes me think of you and Drew and just how much slower your beer league games are when I'm watching how fast they are.
Hey, well, I mean, if we ever record them, is there a way you can speed up the recording so it makes us look a little faster?
Yeah, we can do that. It'll look super believable. It'll be a little obvious, but yeah.
We should do that. Okay, so is there anything more to talk about the NHL playoffs other than we just love it and it's great and we're going to keep watching?
Who our predictions are for the final.
Okay. Who you got?
For me, I can't pick against the Stars, so it's going to be Stars and Carolina. in the finals.
Yeah, logically, I would say Avalanche and Hurricanes.
Yeah. I think I'd
I would
have to.
love the Stars, though.
Yeah, same here. Golly. Should I just pick the Stars just so that Drew, we think we have the momentum and maybe, Okay, so I'll pick the Stars too. It'll be Stars and Canes. Let's go. Come on. Got to beat those Avalanche, and we'll see where it goes. But it's a tall order, but they can do it. They can do it. So let's see. All right. Well, hey, tonight, the NFL draft first round's going on. It's just the first round tonight, isn't it?
Yep.
Okay. I was doing a little research earlier in the week just to kind of get an idea of what Mel Kiper would say, because now there's like a ton of draft evaluators out there and stuff like that. But for a long time, Mel Kiper started way back in the 80s and stuff with this. And he's still doing it. He's still doing it. And he put out his top 150 picks on ESPN. And so as I looked through it, I just thought, well, since you guys went to OU and OSU, Nicole, how many people do you think from OU are in the top 150 of Mel Kiper's draft prognostications? We're going to have to edit this because you're taking way too long.
I should really think about this and give it a good answer or not. I'm just going to go 10.
Or here's the interesting thing.
I know. I didn't think it would be that high, but you were rushing me.
Well, here's the interesting thing, because I would have expected in years past that it would have been higher, because OU.
Well, we were better before.
Yeah, you've had quarterbacks, you've had receivers, you've had linebackers, you've had other people that have been draft worthy and stuff. This year it's Mason Thomas, who's an edge rusher. He's number 36 on Kiper's list. On 89 is a defensive tackle, Grayson Halton. 96, Devin Burks, wide receiver, and 116, Fabechi Nuahu, a guard.
I'm fine with this. Maybe that means we're a young team, and we're just going to be even better next year.
Well, the interesting thing is coming off a season. You had a good season last year. So
yeah, it was decent.
That's pretty. I think that's good. I think that's good news too, because you came off a good season in the SEC. You've only got 4 guys on Mel Kiper's top 150.
Yeah.
So that tells you that. Well, how did that team produce? They must have good coaching. They must have other good younger players. That's a good thing, I think. So I'm with you on that.
That's what I'm really hoping for. Like I said, I'm very pleased with how OU did this season, because I was starting to get worried about Venable's job, to be honest. I was expecting, if this season didn't go that great, that he'd be canned at the end of the year, but we did fine. We did good.
Yeah.
So I think that's goes to show that maybe, his recruiting and whatnot is working. But as we've talked about in the past few weeks, recruiting just looks so different now. So who even knows, what exactly they got cooking. But in general, Oklahoma football is a historically great program, and they do have donors and money. And so they're going to figure out how to get the money there and how to get the recruits they want. It just might not have been as quickly as Texas was able to get the money there and get the recruits they want. So I'm not worried about my school in the long run, but I think that's kind of what happened the last few years.
Texas has always been first with the money. So,
yeah, but they weren't producing though.
I know,
before.
which was amazing.
Yeah,
which was amazing. When they were in the Big 12 and they weren't producing, you were like scratching, head scratcher.
Yeah,
these guys are spending
ridiculous.
$100 million a year on their program and they're not winning. That's just
they were spending so much.
Not good.
And
Yeah.
they were winning 5 games.
Yeah. So, Drew, any guess on how many from OSU were in the top 150?
I'd be happy if we had 1. I think it's 0.
It was 0, which that's stunning. I mean, I don't, and I'm not trying to bash you, because I loved Mike Gundy and I love OSU. I've never seen a team drop off as fast and furious as they did when all this NIL stuff hit and everything else. They would probably be, if you look at like Power 4 conference teams, they would be one that you'd say they just missed it. They missed the boat. They didn't do it, right?
Well, we're in a new era now.
Yeah.
And I think we might see it in the reverse. We're going to bounce back faster than ever. So
everybody has to. I mean, they have to understand, if you're going to play in the Power 4, it takes money. You're going to have to.
You just got to get money there.
Yeah.
Right now, that's all you can compete with is money.
Well,
and the other unfortunate thing is location, which, like, you can't change Stillwater, Oklahoma. Like, so that doesn't work in your favor, but
I
money.
like Stillwater's not bad. Come
Stillwater's
on.
great. What are you talking
Yeah, what are you
about?
talking
I'm
about?
saying, like, if you're trying to entice an 18-year-old kid to come to your school and you're like, "You can come play in LA for a year, because then next year someone's gonna offer you more money, or you can come to Stillwater for a year."
I
Then
think the I think the
the
bigger issue is the year-to-year transitions. 'Cause
yeah.
it's you recruit, you spend all this time recruiting a guy, he might leave after the first semester. You have to be ready and dialed in to work in that environment. And if you're not into it, you're screwed because you're just going to get beat. You got to have money and you got to be ready to react and deal with losing players and all that kind of stuff. Otherwise, it's going to destroy you as a team because that's just what the environment is right now. And that's what happened to Oklahoma State. I mean, I don't think Gundy was totally bought into, how NIL works and losing guys and all that kind of stuff. And hey, that's his decision. He did so good for that school for so long. I think they should put a statue of him in front of the stadium. And at the same time, if he didn't want to do it this way anymore, I respect him for saying, well, Mike, maybe the time is that you retire and let's go. And then he decided that he wasn't going to retire. And he was like, well, I do have a contract and they got to pay me to leave. So that was even smarter on his part too. So it worked out for
Yeah.
everybody, right? That's how it
Yeah.
works. Yeah.
I'm kind of
Speaking of
upset by the way it went down, but hey, what are you gonna do?
Oh, you're upset by the way it went down. Well, you know what I say to that? Coaches leave all the time, Drew. Coaches leave all the time.
Well, he didn't leave. He was told to leave.
I don't have
Coaches
any
get
ill
fired
will
all the
towards the
time.
guy.
Coaches leave all the time. Coaches get fired all the time. Can't be upset about the way it happens. Nope.
It's the way it happens. It's a tough deal. So anyway,
No feelings allowed here. And to the fans who have no idea why I'm saying this, that's because my dad and my brother will not let me be upset about Lincoln Riley leaving OU the way he did. They said there is no room for that type of emotion in this game. So to Drew, I say, get over it.
That's because you hate the guy. I don't have anything against the guy.
It wasn't a one-man show with what Lincoln did. There's a lot of people involved in that.
Well, there always is. Football team, there's a lot of people involved. So anyway, then let's talk about the 150 a little bit more. Iowa, since we follow Iowa and we like Iowa and we love Iowa, they basically had 3 guys in the top 150. They're all offensive linemen. No surprise there, right? That's kind of what they do. There was no tight end, though. Yeah, there's no tight end. That's the thing. Where's the tight end at?
It's usually their go-to.
Yeah. Well, I mean, God, if you're a tight end coming out of Iowa and you don't make the top 150, is that now like can you still wear your letter jacket and stuff in town? I mean, the other guy's going to be mad at you and stuff.
They're a disappointment.
Hold on, wait. One more thing getting back to Mike Gundy is let's never forget that him and Justin Bieber had a little bromance at one point. You know who else is blowing up right now is Justin Bieber is back, baby.
He is?
Yeah, Dad, you probably haven't seen this because do you even know what Coachella is?
Yes, I know what Coachella is.
I don't know. What do you know about it?
Well, I know it's a big concert that they have, and they have all kinds of acts, and it goes on for, what is it, a week? 3 days, 4 days?
Yeah, they have like 2 weekends of it. And so Justin Bieber's at Coachella this year. He was performing. And for his set, he just did like a very casual, like he threw up his old YouTube videos on the screen and was just like singing along to them. And it was just, incredibly casual. Like it was literally him typing into YouTube and like, singing along, and everybody was just loving it. And Justin Bieber is so back. I am so excited. It is now socially acceptable to wear my Purpose Tour t-shirt back out in public. And I'm so excited.
Is that the concert I took you to? The Purpose Tour?
No, you took me to Believe, which was later, I think, or maybe I went to Believe. No, actually, Believe was when I was like 12. And then you took me to Purpose Tour?
It was when you were 16.
When I was 16, I think that's correct.
Yeah.
So I've seen him twice. I love him.
Yeah, I told you guys, I like him. I mean, I think he's talented as can be, I mean.
Well, he's back, baby.
He can play all the instruments and he can sing, and he's got some unbelievable talent. And the concert that I took you to there, I mean, the other part of the concert sucked. It was terrible.
Well, do you remember who opened?
Yeah, it's Post Malone. It was
Post Malone.
It was one of the worst openings I've ever seen. It was all digital music. There was no band playing. I was like, this
But
is horrible.
you love Post Malone now, though.
I like him. I mean, I like him. I like when he's actually, doing music, but this was all
Yeah.
digital stuff. And then they just have a person up there going, Harry, 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 Harry.
Well, yeah. So yeah, the first girl that went, like, she's still a nobody. There's no point in even saying her name. But then it was Post Malone was the second opener that came on right before Justin, who was wearing a Cowboys jersey because he's from Grapevine. He went to Grapevine High School, Post Malone did. So he came out there, was really excited to be in, Dallas, Texas performing. But the only song he had in 2016 was White Iverson,
Yeah.
which like is not one of his best songs. It was just kind of one of his first popular songs. He has so many better songs now, and I would
Yeah.
love to see him now. I love like any of his new stuff, any of his new like even the country stuff. I love
Yeah.
a lot.
I think he's found he's found I guess different ways to present himself, and I think he's gotten better and better over time. I mean, early on I was like, yeah, I'm not into what he's doing, but now I'd watch him. I'd watch him now for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, now would
Yeah.
be a great show live. But yeah, at the time, it was not. It was only White Iverson was the only song, and I remember Dad said he hated it. So, but that goes to show to artists that people can grow to like you.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and that concert, it was a concert. So I'm going to a concert expecting to see instruments and guitars and drum sets and freaking horns blowing or something. I don't know. And we go to the concert, and the first two acts, there is zero instruments, nothing
Well,
on stage except a
but if
person
you
with a
think about it,
microphone. Person
if
with a
you think
microphone
about it
going,
though, like you don't really probably want your openers to have a ton of stuff to bring around. It's probably a lot easier if it's just a person to pluck on the stage and say,
well, I'll tell
"All
you,
right, open my show."
well, on a different level, a concert that your mom and I went to just a few years ago here in the Dallas area was the Wood Brothers, the Avett Brothers, and then the Turnpike Troubadours. They all play music. They all have their, a distinct sound, and it was great. I mean, because they're playing instruments and they're actually giving us their voice and stuff. I mean, it was awesome, and that's what I like to see in music. That's why I fall back a lot of times on the 70s music and stuff like that, because they're playing instruments. It's not just digital stuff. And I mean, I'm blown away when people have just these unbelievable voices and stuff. But I mean, you can only watch so much of that. And the rap, I like the rhyming rap better than the just droll saying nothing rap.
The rap is so 2016 anyway. We don't even need to talk about that.
Okay. Well, where were we anyway? We were starting to talk about the draft. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you just got done talking about Iowa.
Yeah. So Iowa State only has one guy in the top 150.
Iowa
well.
or Iowa State? Oh,
Iowa State. Iowa had 3. They were linemen. Iowa State has 1. He's a lineman. So interesting because, Iowa at times will have skill players come out that'll be, that'll be sought after, but usually not in the top. How many guys get drafted in the pro? There's 32 teams, 7 rounds, 200 and something players. So, there's some that'll be down lower, like late 6th, 7th round that may get picked up. So the top guys, before we get to Drew's update, because you're going to give us an update, right? Live stuff. What's happening, Drew? What's happening live? You got a live update for us?
Yeah, it's they're currently on the 7th pick. Can you guess who went number 1?
Mendoza.
Correct.
To Vegas as a quarterback, right?
Oof.
Yep.
Okay.
Then second was the Jets. They took David Bailey from Texas Tech. He's an edge rusher.
Yeah.
Number 3 was Jeremiah Love to the Cardinals, Notre Dame running back.
God, that poor guy. He's going to go there and freaking get killed. Golly. Bummer for him.
Yeah, it's going to be especially tough with who's it?
Kyler Murray.
Playing quarterback. Yeah, who's playing quarterback for them now?
I don't know.
I don't know
who is. Yeah. If you don't know, that's probably not a good thing.
No.
know.
Number 4 is Carnell Tate from Ohio State, wide receiver. He's going to the Titans. Number 5 is the Giants. They picked Arvil Reese from Ohio State, linebacker. Number 6 was the Chiefs, and they took Mansour Delane, a corner from LSU. And then 7 just happened. The Commanders took Sonny Styles from Ohio State, linebacker.
What's Ohio State?
Can you believe how many guys from Ohio State are in the top? So
Yeah,
like,
it's already 3 in the top 10. We're not even
yeah.
done
So
yet.
you look at that and you go, people look at it like, God, Ryan Day, he's a great coach. Okay, well, he's obviously got the
Yeah.
best players in the land.
Yeah, he's got the best
So
players in
he's
the
a good
world.
recruiter. He's a good recruiter, and they probably got a lot of money. But if they don't win that's why people are like, hey, you got to win the championship. You got to be in the playoffs. You got to win the championship here because you got all these top draft picks, and you're not winning the championship.
Mhm.
People are like, head scratcher. Chiefs doesn't surprise me if they're going after a DB because they get rid of all their DBs. They'll draft
Yeah.
them. They'll pay them when they're rookies, a small amount, and then they'll develop them and they'll be great. And then they let them go because they've done it with L'Jarius Sneed. They just did it with O.J. McDuffie. And they'll do it with this guy too, which I'm not complaining about because it's a recipe that seems to work, right?
Yeah. I mean, it
Yeah.
does work.
Yeah. Yeah.
They end up being pretty good, so as long as that keeps working.
Yeah, if they can develop them and they can play when they're young, and then they're like, okay, well, you're just too expensive to be part of the big picture, and that's the reality of salary cap and stuff like that. It's not personal. Then it's like, man, you can only pay for so many players, and that's like when the Chiefs let Tyreek Hill go. God, how can you do this? Well, they got a lot of good out of letting him go, and they
Well,
won two
they
Super
have a lot of
Bowls.
people that they have to pay for.
Yeah, and they won 2 Super Bowls
Right.
after the fact, after they let him go. So, that's just part of the game. It's a business, and there's decisions you have to make like that make them fun. That's what the draft's all about. So, I
Yeah,
don't know what else what's that?
I actually got sent kind of a cool stat sheet from my buddy Garrett. Shout out Garrett. It has all of the 32 teams, their best draft pick and their worst draft pick. And then it has all of those ranked. So can you guess who the number 1 player and team is?
For best draft pick?
Of all
Best draft
time?
value. So think like a low draft pick that turns into a star player. That's going to
Of all
be your
time?
highest value of all
Of all
time.
Tom
of all time?
Brady.
Well, it's Tom Brady.
It was actually Tyreek Hill.
What?
Really?
Yeah.
What's the
Mm.
what's the algorithm here? What's the
Yeah,
math behind this?
I don't know. I'm not sure
Where's Tom
how
Brady
it
at?
goes. Tom Brady is on here. Where is he? No, actually, he's not on here because the New England pick is Joe Tooney.
So it's some type of funky math because
Yeah, how can you say that Brady wouldn't be he's a 6th round there was only 7 rounds in the draft. He was a 6th round draft pick, and he
ends
won
up being your
7 Super
franchise
Bowls.
quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, come on. He has to be
Well,
I don't
that's
know.
what I'm saying is it's whatever any math thing like this is what you learn in a billion statistics classes, is any math thing like this, it makes sense to them, it's just how it's being presented to us doesn't make sense. So it might be that the math equation here is for like the first year or for the first
Yeah.
2 years or something, and that's why Tom Brady is not on this list or whatever.
I don't know. I'm just reading the math.
Yeah. All right.
Send him an email. Send him an email asking for the for the back
That's
end
for the
info there.
breakdown.
Yep.
Well, we'll keep checking back in on the draft a little bit here and there, Drew, and you can give us an update. But I mean, the things that we've been talking about today, NCAA championships, NHL playoffs, the draft. I mean, these are all like, moments of joy and, celebration for all the athletes that are participating in all this stuff. And to me, that's what sports is just it's always, it's a way to be part of a team and be involved in something, and a lot of times it leads to celebration. Just this last week I was checking in on Facebook, and one of our old friends and baseball coaches that we played with and coached with here in the past several years, he put out a picture and he was like, oh, I miss these days. And it was a picture of Drew, your team back in it was a picture of you guys in high school, of players that we had coached you guys when you were 13, 14, and then you were playing against each other in high school and stuff. And, he posted that, and it's been a number of years now. It's almost been 10 years, right? It's been like
Yeah, it's been 9.
9 years. Yeah. So it's been a while. So you look at that, and then people are commenting, oh, I love to see this. Oh, with all the memories, blah, blah, blah. And, my statement was ball is life. I was stealing that from Ted Lasso, but that's really what it is. I mean, that's sports, and that's why we love it. So let's talk a little bit about that. I mean, what is one of the standout sports memories that you have from all the sports that you participated in? and why?
I mean, mine's easy, so I'll go. But for me, it was making OU cheer.
Yeah, it
That
was
was just
awesome.
yeah, like that. I don't know, surreal still to think about it, but yeah, that was kind of my like, holy crap, I made it moment. And so even when I look back on it now, there's lots of nuance and things that a lot of people have no clue about, like with how exactly it ended for me, because it didn't end, I wasn't someone who cheered all 4 years and everything was great. I only got to do it for 1 year, but still, like I look back on it and I'm just so glad that I even got the opportunity to do it for that 1 year. Like I accomplished my dream, like my biggest goal, growing
Yeah.
up
Well,
was
I
to be a
mean,
college athlete, and I did it, so
yeah, I mean, injury ended your career, I mean, is what happened. But yeah, I mean, like when you were leading up to that and you were in high school and stuff, you're like, well, I want to cheer a Division I school. And I mean, well, mom and I are like, we don't know what this will take, but there's only so many spots, and then as we saw the process where as you're getting out of high school, you got to go to these camps and like try out. And you do that basically in May, and if you make it, you make it. If you don't, you don't. But you've already applied to go to the college, which was
yeah.
amazing to me because you got to apply to go to the college, get accepted, then you're like, okay, I'm going to go try to make the cheer team. Well, what if you don't then? Or is there another college of backup? And then some of the tryouts are on the same weekend, so you can't try out for multiple teams. And so there was
Mhm.
like it was a gamble, and you're putting
It is a
yourself out
gamble.
there. Yeah. And I thought it was really impressive how you were like, didn't you go to the Oklahoma camp like a year before that you made it?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wh-
maybe I went twice, like, maybe I went my junior and senior year, but, like, plenty of people go, like, I mean, yeah, like, you can just sign up and go, like, it's not like you have to get invited to these things or anything, and granted, like, recruiting for cheer now looks a little bit differently, like, some people do have a signing day, and, now, like, stunts a bigger deal, which allows
Yeah.
some different recruiting levels, but, yeah, like, when I was trying out for cheer, it was very much like no one was really getting recruited, especially not formally. And so, like, yeah, you kind of had to pick a school, apply, get in, and then try out and hope that you make the team. And then you got a tough decision of if I don't make the team, do I love this school enough to go anyway? As a normal person, or do I want to go try out somewhere else that has a tryout after this and then hope I make the team there?
Yeah.
So it's
Well,
definitely
well,
a unique landscape.
yeah. And then your mom and I took you up there for the tryout, and you were going through it all, and there was like morning session and afternoon session or whatever, and you broke your ankle,
Yeah.
fractured your ankle at the end of the first session, and you were
No,
freaking out.
it was the end of the first session on the second day. So I made it through day 1's pretty
Okay.
Day 1 was light for me, and then day 2 is kinda like, the important day. So I don't even think we tumbled day 1. If we did, it was, like, standing back, which I could do in my sleep, and then day 2 was the day where you had to actually do, like, your tumbling and whatnot, so yeah. Luckily, I already did my running pass, was beautiful, but then my standing pass, I landed funky, which that's what you get because guess what? College cheers on dead mat, and you never tumble on dead mat before you
Yeah.
get to college unless you cheer in high school and whatever, whatever.
Then
I
you
was
were
just
in
like
a
1 foot, and I was like, "I'm not about to not finish the tryout. Are you kidding me?"
Yeah, and so then you got picked for the team, and then you had to tell them, "Hey, I fractured my ankle in the thing, and I'm wearing a boot right now," which, I'm sure that concerned you and everything, and you got through that and everything. But then ultimately, what ended up happening is through the year of cheer that you did, you ended up having
Yeah.
a back injury, a
Yeah.
disc injury, and that's serious. When you're trying to do gymnastics and cheer stuff, you get a disc injury at that young of an age, you're kind of a liability to the team, and that's how it ended, and that's
I had
that's
no
what
idea
happens in
that it was
sports.
I mean, but everybody's back hurts, everybody says their back hurts, like,
Yeah.
I didn't really realize I also didn't know that it ran in the family, like, these are the moments where I'm like, how did nobody gonna tell me this? That, that dad also had this thing, and because
Well, I
they're
never had
apparently
surgery though. I never
but
had
they're
to have
very
surgery.
hereditary. These are the types of things that the doctor, when they're like, "Oh, do you have any family history of this?" I'm like, "I don't know. I did. I totally
Yeah.
did." But yeah, I let it get so bad, like worse than even like again, like my old coach, like my old teammates, they don't even know like the
The
extent of
pain,
like
yeah. It's
what I
painful.
was going through. Well, my leg was numb.
Yeah,
Like I literally had no nerve communication with my left leg and I was still throwing standing back to the basketball game and like
yeah,
doing everything that I could because I didn't realize like the level of injury that I had endured, and I
yeah,
didn't want, the dream to end, so like, I was 19, I didn't really even fully
yeah,
know my body at that point to where, like, now any athlete that talks to me or even anybody, like, even my cousin, we were talking about her back was hurting, and, she had said, like, "Oh, yeah, I had to sit down and put on my pants," and I was like, "Be freaking careful," because like, I literally remember having to sit down and put on my socks and shoes and my pants every morning in my freshman year dorm room, and, like, at the time, yeah, you're like, "Oh, it hurts, so this will be a few days," and it was not a few days for me, it was a whole ass
yeah.
surgery, like, and so, like, anytime I hear people talk about disc issues now, I'm like, "You better listen to your body and find a good professional who will listen to you as well, because there's also professionals and trainers who won't take it seriously either."
You went from the mountaintop, and then you experienced the injury and the cut from the team and everything. So you got the high and you got the low, and that's how sports is. But at the same time, you've got so many good memories from that year, though. I mean,
Yeah.
you cheered at awesome football games, basketball games. We had so much fun coming to watch it and stuff. So I think that's why you do this stuff, because
And
it's just
again,
the
it
memories.
was the dream, like, it was like,
Yeah,
I accomplished it, like, regardless of how it ended, like, I did it and I accomplished it, and that's something that, like, I can always be proud of, and I will never
yeah,
forget. Oh, yeah, and also, like, everything happens for a reason. I learned a lot about myself through all of this process. I think I grew a lot as a person through all of this process. My career in academia and sports would not be the same if I had your traditional happy-go-lucky 4 years cheering at OU. Like, everything that I do now with helping athletes and studying communication and, sports organizations
yeah.
is comes from my experience and how it ended as well.
Absolutely. All right, so let's move to Drew. Drew, what are your thoughts? Do you have like sports memories that stand out, or what's your.
What's funny is you're asking me this question, and I really don't. But the parts that I remember are like the road trips, dicking around in the hotels, like the being part of a team part. I think I always liked that more than like playing. Like obviously I put a lot of pressure on myself to play well, and you always want to play well, but I think I genuinely had more fun being part of a team and messing around with the guys than I did playing the game. Which is funny to say, but those are all the times I remember, not the games.
That's a
Yeah.
good answer. That
And that's
that's a
also why
great answer.
club baseball was so perfect for me, because there's no coaches, there's no parents to worry about. It was just the being part of the team part that I liked, and the road trips and the shenanigans that we would get into.
Yeah, so you played club baseball at OSU. So this is the interesting thing about how you guys grew up compared to how I grew up. I grew up my parents were always involved in teaching and coaching. My dad was a coach and small colleges. So, small college to me was college, you know. Small college to you guys was like, hey man, I'm not going there. You guys were like, I want to go to a big school. Nicole Hughes, OU, and Drew, you were like, yeah, I'm not going to a small school.
Well,
And
our
you
high school
chose.
was bigger than some of these schools that some of our friends were committing to.
Oh, absolutely. Your high school had over 3,000 students,
And
so
some
so
some
gigantic.
people from our high school were committing to play at, like, small private liberal
Sure.
arts schools or whatever that are less than
Which
3,000 people.
which is
It's
nothing
cool
wrong
if
with
you
that.
wanna go
Yeah.
there. Yeah, it's cool
Yeah.
if you wanna do it.
I
For
mean, I
me,
did I did it for a couple seasons, and, I get it because, hey, if you wanna play and
yeah,
it's
if
out
you
there
wanna
for you.
play.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like, anybody who because now I'm at the age where I'm meeting parents who find out about, like, my background, and then they're like, "Well, how did you, get there or whatever?" And I'm like they're talking about their kid who's maybe at the talent level who would be considering that, and that's what I tell them is, like, what you just said, is I'm like, "Just make sure that they wanna play."
Yeah.
Because as many people as I know that committed to those schools, a few of them actually went there, and then even less stayed there
Yes,
because they
exactly.
get there and then they're like, what is this? Maybe I don't love playing this sport as much as I thought I did. I would rather transfer to Texas Tech and party. And then
Exactly.
that's what they did, which is
And that's
fine too, but
that's
it's
ex
just
and
something
that's
you
it
got to figure out.
that's the exact same thing I told Drew when he was coming out of high school because, he's coming out of school with 3,000 high school students and, Drew you played varsity ball as a senior, but I'm like, your experience is nothing like kids that come from small towns in the upper Midwest and stuff. So I'm like, you're a good baseball player. You can play somewhere if you want to, but it's going to be pretty small, if it's like truly collegiate ball, and then Drew was like, I want to go to big school. Okay. And then the first thing I suggested to you was when you were going to Oklahoma State, I'm like, see if they have a club baseball team, because a lot of these schools do. And luckily they did. And it was kind of, it was you and your buddy from your high school team, Jordan, jumped in there and you guys made the team and you guys had a damn good team, I thought.
And it was still like, it was only the club's second year too. So we really came in and got to do whatever we want. It was perfect timing, like all around.
Yeah. The school gave you money to travel. I mean, I was like, man, this looks a lot of fun. Because it was kind of like I played a little bit of rugby after I got over my football injury, and I played a little bit of rugby. And you guys were doing the same thing, only when I played rugby, we never got any money from the school. Or if we did, it was like to buy a ball. It wasn't like to pay for hotel rooms and shit like that.
We didn't get a ton of money too. We still had to do fundraisers. We did the cheerleading
We had a
thing.
parking lot though.
We did the parking lot thing.
They helped you get money.
That was the best fundraiser. That one was awesome.
Oh,
that's
God.
a great fundraiser.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We have to do a fundraiser. We got to help cars park.
We got to go drink in the parking lot.
We have to go tailgate and eat steaks. We got to go tailgate and eat steaks while we're parking cars. Oh, this is hard. Yeah.
Like I said, though, I remember the tailgates. I don't remember the games.
Yeah.
But I think all of this to say is I think that's why all of us love sports and are doing this podcast, and then why me and Drew work in sports, and Dad would love to now that he's retired and considering other opportunities. But it's because we truly love like sports, like the off the field, the experience, like the life, of it. Not just, what it means to be an athlete, but like there's so much more to it. Like growing up, a lot of my childhood memories are at the baseball field. I wasn't playing, Drew was, but like I have a lot of fun memories just being at Drew's games. And like a lot of our family friends are people that, played on Drew's baseball team or like other parents. And like I hung out with all the sisters, and then, same memories from cheer competitions. And like sports are about so much more than just competing. Like it's also, like Drew said, it's all the downtime that you experience with people. And that's why a majority of, I know for female athletes specifically, if you played a sport, you're much more likely to be in a leadership position in a company. And like 90% of female CEOs played a sport. It's like a ridiculous statistic.
Yes, I would support that 1,000,000%. And that's why I've always been a proponent of athletics. It's funny because when I was in high school, you would have teachers that actually that had a disdain for some athletes. They're not involved in one act play, or they're not involved in the drama club. And I was like, who cares? You're involved in sports. You're putting yourself out there as a leader. A lot of people involved in sports are also working out and doing things to try to be a better athlete and stuff. Why are you going to say that as a student athlete, I as a person am not as well-rounded as a person that is in the play, for instance, but they would do that. I mean, there would be teachers that would do that. And I was always like, those are the teachers I did not like, because I'm like, they're shallow, they don't understand, they should understand that maybe some kids are better at being drama types and want to do that. And they're good actors and stuff. I am not that person, but I know how to play sports and I love it. So I'm going to do it.
I think, related, you just smacked the microphone.
I did. God, I'm getting so passionate.
Talking with your hands. Yeah. Related, one of my favorite things that you've said before was like, there people like in the workplace, like in a corporate environment, like they would be talking about something like at work, and then they'd be like, "This is like my Super Bowl," and then you were like, "Oh God," like that's because you never played sports. Like you don't understand
Exactly.
that. Like this doesn't matter. Like
Yeah, it's not even
relax.
close. Not
And
even
so
close.
it's just funny to me because that came up recently, like when I was at work, which I work in sports, but still, like something came up and we were like, that's how you know someone just has no concept of reality. You know, like when pressure and stuff like truly matters and when it doesn't. And it's just funny because it just reminds me of that. Because again, sports teach you so much more than, you know, the on field stuff or the on the court or mat or whatever stuff. Like they teach you about what truly matters and like to care about something for an hour and then let it go and move on and stuff like that. So
You've been listening to a podcast. 3 family members this week, once again, because Drew's back and we love him being here with us. This is the Butterball, a podcast of 3 family members. We're talking ball and we're having a ball. Thanks for listening and make sure you subscribe.
awesome. This is Butterball Podcast. Make sure you follow us on Instagram at Butterball Podcast.
And you can subscribe to us on YouTube at Butterball Podcast or listen to us on Spotify.